Thanks, Ben. Well, support groups for veterans such as VFWs and American Legions have been around for about 100 years, supporting veterans from both world wars, Vietnam and Korea.
But now as the vets get older, the generation gap gets wider. So how do these organizations increase membership and attract the younger generation of veterans? I found out what needs to change in order for these organizations to stand the test of time. Our nation's military veterans have survived some of the toughest battles, welcomed home with open arms, or like many, not welcomed at all.
Went through Vietnam, 2 tours in Vietnam.
Jim Jackson, post commander of American Legion Post 1, knows how deployment affects a soldier.
When I got home from Vietnam, the second time, I was a mess.
He didn't join a veteran support group until many years later after he retired from the Army because he felt like he didn't belong.
And then I walked in here one day and said I'd like to become a member.
And like many before him, this is how it's worked. Fast forward to today, and membership of a Legion or VFW is suffering.
Well, the youngest commander of this post in its history.
Julian Green, commander of American Legion Post 551, is struggling to reach the younger generation of veterans.
I think it is difficult to reach the junior veterans because there's a generational gap there. So when they see the young former military guy walk in, with skinny jeans and a tee, a lot of them feel that there's that lack of understanding of the deep respect that's involved in being in an organization.
But as commander of his post, he works to reach both generations of veterans because he knows groups like this can help.
I strongly desire to reach them because my father was a senior veteran. He was a Vietnam veteran, Air Force.
And in March of 2019, his father, Senior Airman Tommy Green Jr., took his own life due to complications with cancer, believed to have been caused by exposure to Agent Orange in Vietnam.
And I just realized that a lot of the obstacles are worth it if it means just being able to save one veteran from having to go through stuff like what my father went through.
But something has to change. How do you make the organizations a place for both the young and the old to coexist?
I went to a meeting where I was the youngest person by 25 years. I didn't really feel comfortable.
Kelly Mizelles, retired captain of the U.S. Army, didn't join after retiring because he felt the issues being discussed were not relevant to him.
They still have kids in school. They still need jobs or have jobs. They are concerned about affordable housing. These are the things that the younger veteran needs to be addressing, and they need their service organizations to be addressing.
Otherwise, how will veterans' issues ever be resolved?
That's one of the benefits of the American Legion and the VFW that people don't recognize is our lobbying power. So their failure over the past decade to reach out to the younger veteran and bolster those numbers of the Legion and the VFW have weakened the American Legion and the VFW. So they don't have as strong a voice when we go to Washington. If the VFW goes away, if the American Legion goes away, who's going to speak for the veteran in Washington?
For some younger veterans like Navy vet Bubba Viator, he's just not ready to join a Legion or VFW.
When you go inside, hats off, shirts tucked in. One of the posts has, you got to have dress shoes on. So that, as small as that sounds, that's throwing people off.
So instead, he started his own veterans organization to allow veterans to come together in a more casual, social environment.
Well, our own group, we advertise we have over 500 members on Facebook.
But even he struggles with membership.
We always brag and say that's how many is on our Facebook page. Really, we might have 10% show up every time we have something.
So how do you get people to show up?
I'm working on that. They don't want to show up, but when they do, it's the best thing they've ever been to. They need the camaraderie. They need to know that they have somebody that's fought literally the exact same war.
And when I go into that Legion, I don't care if you were Coast Guard, Navy, Air Force, I can talk to you in a different way than I talk to everyone else.
Honestly, the question of is the Legion and these other organizations a dying organization, I think the answer is as long as there is a veteran, as long as there's a veteran, it's alive.
It gives me a purpose, gives me something to help our veterans. Dadgummit, if we don't come out and help our veterans, help with our children and youth, help with our kids, we might as well quit. We might as well close the doors.
An organization that is actively changing and transforming as generations come and generations go with the hope to reach each and every veteran. And if you're interested in a veteran and would like to join a VFW, American Legion, or other veterans organization, you can find a list of those locations in the Lake area with the phone numbers on our website at watchfox29.com.